It's another edition of Inside Cowboys Training Camp presented by Ford here from Oxnard, California. Alongside Nick Eatman, I'm Kyle Youmans here from DallasCowboys.com, and we have some news to share around QB1, Dak Prescott. And it's not necessarily the news you want to hear. He's been dealing with a shoulder injury throughout the course of camp. However, news comes down that he will not be playing in the Hall of Fame game Thursday, but this isn't necessarily a surprise, is it?
No, absolutely not. I mean, only the surprise would be that he was going to play in the game. We knew this from the start. He could be 100% healthy. He wasn't going to play in this game. Remember, they've added this fourth game onto the schedule. Most of the league is going to play three. That being said, you just don't expect these guys to do much. And it's not just him. There's going to be a lot of starters not playing, but it's really not a shock at all that Dak's not playing.
And we're going to go through some of those other starters that will not be there Thursday night in Canton, Ohio to take on the Steelers in the first preseason game of the year. But I want to continue on with Dak Prescott. And the way that Mike McCarthy phrased it in his press conference today was that he doesn't want it to turn into anything bigger. Does that concern you at all whenever talking about this injury that at one point seemed like it was pretty minor?
Well, I think that he probably didn't help himself 3 or 4 days ago by saying that he's going to throw in 2 or 3 days. Just because from a shoulder injury standpoint, I think we were all looking at it like, why would he throw in 2 or 3 days? So now here we are 2 or 3 days later, and he's not going to do as many things. And so I think it sounds like a setback, but I think initially if they just would have said, we're going to be very, very smart, there's no timetable, and when it's time to play, he'll be ready. And now it kind of sounds like there's been a setback, and I don't think that's really the case.
You don't think that's the case, so this does not change how you feel about the potential timetable of Prescott's return?
No, and I've said this all along. Can you play against Tom Brady in Tampa Bay? If you're ready for that, then I think that's fine. He knows the system. Yes, he could nicely have a little bit of reps and all that. Get ready for Tampa Bay. That is the mindset here, and I don't think anything has changed.
It definitely seems like Cowboys Nation a little bit on edge when hearing about Dak Prescott, and for good reason. He is their leader, their quarterback at the same time.
The last time they saw him, he wasn't walking.
That's a good point.
Last time they saw him in a game that counts. So, yeah, of course, everything that happens, you're going to be – and you know what happened after that. The bottom really fell out from the team. And so I think everyone is going to be on eggshells about it. But to me, he said it the other day. If this is a regular game, he's going to push forward. He's going to play. And I think that's kind of the mindset.
So looking ahead to September 9th against Tampa Bay, not necessarily the preseason, even though you would like to see a little bit of number 4 on the field. How about number 94 on the field in the preseason? How is Randy Gregory taking advantage of this training camp when we return with more Inside Cowboys Training Camp presented by Ford?
Inside Cowboys Training Camp presented by Ford is brought to you by AT&T. More for your thing, that's our thing. Sleep Number. The Sleep Number 360 smart bed helps everyone from parents to pros improve their performance through quality sleep, only at a Sleep Number store. And by Ford, built for Texas, built for you. This segment is brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors, official sporting goods retailer of the Dallas Cowboys.
Welcome back into Inside Cowboys Training Camp, driven by Ford. And we've done a pretty nice job through our limited time on air talking about how these players have stood out throughout the course of Cowboys Training Camp in Oxnard. However, you can go online, DallasCowboys.com. There is a top 15 list of players who have stood out throughout training camp. And one of the guys at the top of that list, Randy Gregory, he's number 2 on the list. But what has he done to impress you?
Well, he's just been, very, very consistent in the way he rushes the passer. It doesn't matter who's in front of him. On the days Tyron Smith is there, he's done a really good job there. Anybody else they put there, he wins it. He just runs up there, kind of touches the quarterback in the red jersey and said, all right, y'all carry on with the play. Now, whether or not he makes the sack or not, who knows, but he's doing a great job of getting there. You're not going to be number 1 on this list unless you just, making these one-handed great catches like C.D. Lamb. He's been outstanding. But he's been the best player on defense. No reverses going to his side. He doesn't get fooled by anything. He's a really smart player for sure. And, he's got that bend around the corner that is unteachable. And so he looked just like C.D. Lamb looks like the number 88 in the past. out here at camp, I know it's a bold statement, but he's looking like he's deserving of 94 out here. He's got a lot to prove, and he is the first person to say that. I'm very impressed by that. He goes, I haven't done anything yet. I don't think he said anything. He said, I haven't done it yet. I still have a lot to prove.
He does have a lot to prove, and there has been word kind of trickling out from the locker room saying he's not only converting on the field, but off the field he is as locked in as ever, and he's starting to become a leader in that locker room. Here's what Randy had to say about the confidence level that he has heading into 2021.
I definitely feel more confident. I think that's obviously going to go up the more I get reps and the more we get some games, under my belt. But I feel great. My body feels great. I got some little dings here and there that I'm working through, much like everybody else. But picking up on the playbook real well. I'm trying to give it my all during practice, trying to push the other guys, and I think we're doing a real good job right now.
Our player audio, as always, brought to you by Sleep Number. And, whenever it comes to Randy Gregory, he's certainly been impressive. But it seems like this edge rusher spot is about as deep as it has been in recent memory. Of course, you get DeMarcus Lawrence back, but those two aren't the only ones there.
Yeah, without a doubt, it seems deeper than it has been. Remember, there's been last few years, we couldn't find that many guys that could rush the quarterback. So it's early, but we like what Dan Quinn is doing. And it's not just Randy Gregory. Dorrance Armstrong is quietly having a very, very good camp, and he's starting to get that bend that we talked about, the torque, in his body around the edge there. He's been here. I think this is his 4th year now, and he hasn't really put it all together. It seems like he's doing that out here, and I keep saying seems like. We've been fooled before by training camp guys. It happens. It happens all the time. You get in the games, and we'll see what happens then. But I think Dorrance Armstrong's a guy that we really need to mention that is starting to turn the corner. Can't wait to see what he looks like in the game.
He's really been a developmental guy throughout his time in Dallas, and heading into a contract year, he's got to improve. Right. He's got to try and make a push for that second contract. And then on the other side, Terrell Bashram, another offseason addition that has had a pretty solid camp so far and looks to be someone to keep an eye on. So this edge rusher spot looking pretty good. What about the starters? How many will be playing in Canton, Ohio on Thursday? We had an update from Mike McCarthy, and we'll tell you about it next.
This segment was brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors, official sporting goods retailer of the Dallas Cowboys.
Back here in Oxnard, California for the final segment of Inside Cowboys Training Camp, driven by Ford. Nick Eatman, Kyle Youmans from DallasCowboys.com. We did get an update from Mike McCarthy about Dak Prescott, but he also mentioned a couple other names that will not be available on Thursday for the Hall of Fame game. It's a pretty lengthy list. Anybody stick out to you?
Well, I think if you want to figure out who's not going to play, just think it's the guy they're really counting on this season. That guy. If they're counting on him, don't count on him playing. Of course, Amari Cooper and D-Law, guys that haven't been practicing, they're not going to be out there. But really, don't expect to see Zeke, Michael Gallup. Tyron Smith, Lyle Collins, Zach Martin. The list goes on and on. It's really a better question of who will play. I know you're going to get to that as we get closer to the game. But these guys that they are counting on in their I wouldn't just say 22, probably they're 25, 28, the starters and a little bit beyond. It's just no point in putting them in this situation. The one exception could be a Micah Parsons or maybe a Biotish or somebody like that that you want to see young guys to get out there. But if you're an established player, somebody they're really expecting some good things from, there's just you don't expect them to play against Pittsburgh.
Another name might be Connor Williams, just for the basic part of maybe putting him in at backup center and getting him some snaps for maybe a little bit of time. But for the most part, most of the starters will probably not be in Canton, or at least participating during the Hall of Fame game. Still plenty to go before we get to Thursday. For Nick Eatman, I'm Kyle Youmans. That's going to do it for this edition of Inside Cowboys Training Camp, presented by Ford.
Inside Cowboys Training Camp, presented by Ford, was brought to you by AT&T. More for your thing, that's our thing. Sleep Number. The Sleep Number 360 smart bed helps everyone from parents to pros improve their performance through quality sleep. Only at a Sleep Number store. And by Ford. Built for Texas, built for you.